In this video, I'm going to be upgrading a bunch of Star Wars vehicles using instructions from some very talented MOC builders. I'm working on a large-scale MOC of the Battle of Christophsis, and I want the best of the best when it comes to choosing the vehicles that I'm going to use. So I started looking into some instructions for some minifigure scale models. As much as I enjoy regular LEGO sets, they just aren't going to cut it for the level of detail that I'm looking to go for with these builds. So it's time to level things up. I'm going to be comparing each of these custom builds to the official LEGO design to see which one looks better and if it's worth the money. The first set I want to take a look at is the AAT or Armored Assault Tank. The most recent one was released from LEGO in 2020 and it came with Ahsoka, a 332nd Trooper, and 2 Kashyyyk battle droids, or as they're called here, drivers. This set retailed for $40 and it has 286 pieces. As far as this build goes, I don't think it looks all that great. It's a little small for what it should be. It has play features included like these stud shooters on the front, and it lacks quite a bit of detail. Looking at this image, you can see that there should be energy cannons represented around the bottom of the front of the tank. The main cannon on the top of the tank is quite a bit longer than it should be, and large pieces are used to create angles, but they lack detail. This tank is designed to be a playset. I understand that I'm not going to get UCS level or MOC level detail out of a $40 set from LEGO. That's not what I expected in the first place anyways. This is made to be played with and tossed around by a 7-year-old. It's not made for detailed accuracy. If I want that, I have to go custom. I build MOCs, but I am not experienced with building custom vehicles. This is where other MOC builders who sell instructions online come into the picture for me. I bought instructions for this Armored Assault Tank from Brick Vault. As I was building it, I realized how complex this model was. The techniques used to achieve certain details in this build and the other builds coming up in just a minute here are insane. I learned more about brackets, hinges, and snot bricks than I ever knew before. If you're a MOC builder and want to level up your building skills, this is definitely a great way to do it. Comparing the two builds, you can see the custom model is slightly larger than the LEGO version. Its proportions are much more accurate than the official build as well. Looking at these two builds next to this image really makes it pretty easy to see which design is more accurate. I think my favorite technique used on this build was with this hose piece and clips to create the rounded section around the front of the tank with the energy shell launch tubes. There's just so much more detail to appreciate in this custom model. And I know I can use it in more of my MOCs going forward, even when I'm done with Christophsis. The next thing I built was the AV7 cannon. This is another Brick Vault model, and once again, I found myself impressed by the building techniques used here. The interior of the main body of this cannon was held together using brackets facing opposite directions to get a symmetrical and almost studless exterior. The AV7 cannon from LEGO came with 2 Wolfpack troopers, a Droideka, and Plo Koon. It retailed for $40 when it came out, but now runs closer to $250 or $300 because of the clones that come with it. Just the build on its own goes for around $50 now. The build from LEGO is more sturdy and doesn't need to be handled with much care, but I think that's just about the only edge it has over the Brick Vault model. The first obvious difference between these two builds is the size. The Brick Vault model is much larger than the original LEGO design. The cannon is longer and the legs also look quite different. Looking at these reference images, you can tell that the Brick Vault model nails it when it comes to accuracy in comparison to the LEGO design. The LEGO version has legs that are too long, it sits too low to the ground, and the main body of the build is too small. It also has a gear coming off the back to adjust the angle of the cannon. This is great for kids and for durability. But I think the Brick Vault model wins for me in every category that matters. The design is incredible and looks exactly like it should when compared to the source material. I have 2 of these built now and I seriously can't wait to get them added into my builds. Again, this is a model I should be able to keep around for a long time and will get a lot of use in my future MOCs. The next build is probably the one I was most excited for. I don't have any Republic gunships in my collection because they're so expensive on the secondary market. LEGO hasn't made a playscale gunship since 2013, and I can't be dropping $300 per build on them. There are a number of great looking custom gunships out there, but I landed on the one made by M5 Builds. The model is awesome, but I think one of the most impressive things about it is the fact that it costs between $140 and $180 to part one of these together. I'm no math genius, but I know that's a lot cheaper than going and buying the retired set from 10 years ago. The other benefit, once again, is that it's closer to minifigure scale than what LEGO offers. I don't own a playscale gunship from LEGO to compare this one to for you guys, but you can see that the M5 Builds gunship has a much smoother, almost studless design. I love the way the doors are built because you can actually see through the windows. LEGO designed things using translucent tiles to represent windows on plates, which just doesn't look as good. I can see myself building a few more of these to add to my collection to use in future mocks. It was a great opportunity to learn some new building techniques, but it definitely took a while to complete with over 500 steps in the instructions. Using Technic pins to build bricks on opposite sides of each other was a pretty awesome technique, even though it may be illegal. But that's one of the greatest things about these custom builds. Mock builders can use illegal building techniques in the name of aesthetics, but LEGO designers can't. I don't care if these Technic pins get damaged over time because I'm not going to be using them for anything else. And if it's really an issue, I can just replace them for next to nothing on Bricklink. All in all, it's hard to beat a design that looks this good for the amount it costs to part it together. Other gunships are just so much more expensive. Until LEGO makes a new gunship in the standard white and red color, the M5 gunship will be my go-to for all of my clone-related mocks. Even then, who knows? I really like the way this design looks. I could see myself sticking with it for a long time. The last thing I built is one of the Brick Vault ATRTs. This was a much smaller model, but it really packs a lot of detail into a package of this size. It was a pretty quick build, it wasn't too complex, and I think the final result is great. The most recent ATRT from LEGO came in the 501st Clone Trooper set. This set came with a speeder, ATRT, 3 501st clones, a 501st Jet Trooper, and 2 battle droids. The ATRT has a stud shooter on the front, some stickers for detailing, and one major problem. Using this image for reference, you can see that LEGO's 501st ATRT dwarfs minifigures with its size, and it stands much taller than it should. Comparing LEGO's ATRT with the Brick Vault one, this thing looks tiny, but again, it's much more accurate. The ATRT from the 501st Clone Trooper set is one of the most obvious examples of LEGO making something larger and using bigger pieces to create a more sturdy model for kids to play with. The Brick Vault version of the ATRT looks way better and is the superior build in my eyes, but it would fall apart if a kid was playing with it. It's pretty easy to get this small build into a variety of poses, but you'll probably need to connect it to something else if you want it to be able to stand in any other position than the regular standing pose. It'll cost you about $30 if you want to part one of these together, which isn't cheap, but a number of these pieces are common, so if you have a decent sized LEGO collection already, you could probably cut down on the cost. Overall, these custom models are way more detailed and accurate than anything LEGO puts out. You typically end up paying a premium for these sets because they use a lot of small and sometimes rare parts. I would say it's totally worth it if you plan on building large mocks and you want to reuse the builds in other layouts. Alternatively, I think they're great if you just want a unique piece for your collection. I think it's really great that the designers who make these custom builds aren't held to predetermined price points or part counts. It really lets them build models that look incredible. Sure, they might not always be as structurally sound as what LEGO puts together, but I haven't had any issues with handling these sets myself. I think as long as you're careful with things and you're above the age of, 13, you're probably going to be fine. Brick Vault didn't sponsor this video and they haven't told me what I can or can't say about these builds. And I even bought these instructions myself, but they have been kind enough to offer a discount code for you guys if you want to purchase instructions to any of the mocks on their website. You can use the code Firebird15 to get 15% off of your purchase. I get a little kickback from every sale, so it's a great way to help support the channel if you want to. I used these reference books for information about the vehicles in this video. I'll put links to all of them down in the description if you want to order them for yourself. Check out my channel and subscribe to catch more videos just like this one. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and I hope you have a good one.